Everyone, Heidi Smith here from Flutter by Heidi, and today we're back with a lovely new suite called Forever Fern. So this is one that I wasn't sure about to start off with, then I saw it being used and kind of went, yes, that's absolutely beautiful, because it has got the most lovely colours in it and beautifully detailed leaves using the distinctive stamp set. So what you've got is a complete suite. So we have dies and stamp sets and designer series paper that all work really well together, whether you're just doing some simple stamping with some foliage or whether you're going to step it up a level to use the dies as well. This is the paper, and it has two of the in colours in it. So we've got some Just Jade, which is this colour here, and we've got the Pretty Peacock as well as a couple of our other colours. So we've got Pear Pizzazz, Shaded Spruce and Soft Seafoam in there as well. And it comes in 12 by 12. I've just got a sample here to show you of double-sided, and you have two sheets of 12 by 12 of each pattern. So as you can see here, the usual lovely, beautifully detailed image on one side, and then a kind of a more of a background image. So fabulous ferns there, kind of tropical perhaps, or Jurassic maybe. Lovely long leaves. I don't know what plants these are, maybe they're Australian, I do wonder, but they're beautiful, really pretty leaves. And again, another all over pattern on the back. Some here which have got a couple of shades in them as well, as you can see the lighter colour coming through. Some great stripes there, almost kind of looks like sort of water effect. And then this paper here, which has got some sort of more leaves, and then again a background one, almost like a batik effect. So those are the papers that we're going to be using, and this is the stamp set. So it's distinctive, so you can see all the detail along with some sentiments in some very pretty fonts. And then we've got dies that create not only the outline shapes but also some leaf accents as well, which you can see on this card here. I've used the leaf die cuts there and here as well. So that's one version. This is the one that I made with my team, which I'm using a punch, and here's another version of it as well using a slightly different paper. And you can see I've just used different shades of green. I've used 3 different greens. So I've used my Pretty Peacock, I have used Pear Pizzazz, and I've used the Shaded Spruce as well for those. So that's what we're going to make today. It doesn't use that much in the way of cardstock, but obviously there is a fair amount of die cutting in it. So if you're not yet into die cutting, then you might want to choose just to either hand cut the images or do something different as well. Okay, so what you're going to do when you're cutting your DSP, you want to cut it, so this is going to be the top, so you want your leaves to go up. So you're going to cut it at 10 centimetres, and then you want 2 pieces which are 7.5 centimetres, like so. And keeping them in this orientation, on one piece you want to cut to score at 2.5 centimetres on the right, like so. And on this one you want to measure the 2.5 centimetres and score on the left edge, and that way you'll keep your patterns upright, like so. You will also need a background piece of card, and I'm going to use the Just Jade, and you want that to be 14.5 centimetres by 10.5. Yeah, that one there. And then a piece of Whisper White to go on the front, which is 10 by 14. So that's 14 by 10. Just double checking those measurements. The last thing you will need is a piece of card for the back. One thing I didn't show you, my frustration with the double point card that I've seen, sometimes, I'll move that one out of the way, most double point cards go vertically, and that's to help keep the flap down. You see, so it's like that. But I decided I wanted to do it horizontally because I felt it fitted it better, and I've just created a little latch on the side here, but also I want it to stand up. So on the back here I just created a little stand so that will stand up and someone can see it and enjoy it. So this is what this last piece is for. So this is 4 by 14.5 centimetres as well. And you want to score that at 1 centimetre, at 8.5 centimetres, at 11 centimetres, and at 13.5 centimetres. Okay. I have done the measurements in inches as well, if you prefer to work in inches. Just make sure you give yourself a 1/4 inch. So if you're working with American cardstock, just give yourself a 1/4 inch of card to work with, and you want it to be 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and these pieces will be 3 by 4 inches, and you just score at 1 inch. This piece you would score at 1/2 inch, 3 1/2, 4 1/2 and 5 1/2, so 6 inches by 1 1/2 inches. So once you've scored, just reinforce those creases, and we're just going to add in a little valley fold on this piece here. Okay, so there's our side piece. Let's create our points. So reinforce those again with our bone folder. Quite important with this one. Now you can't see the score line particularly well, so if you fold it back out of the way and then fold it in, and then reinforce that crease. Do the same again and reinforce that crease, and then we can fold it back. That way it makes it easier than trying to sort of spot a score line that might not be quite so visible. So fold that out of the way. Again, fold this down to the centre along that edge, reinforce it, and the same again, like so. So those are our 2 pieces. Okay, so let's stamp on this one. Now, on my original sample, my second sample, I used die cuts on the inside. That wasn't quite so effective because it obviously it adds a bit of extra bulk when you're trying to close the card. So I'm just going to use some of our lovely Pear Pizzazz ink to create some leaves, and these are kind of long leaves, a little bit similar to the ones, actually I'll use this one, to the ones on the front. So ink it up and just add that, and these will be visible from the top, across the top of the diamond. So you can add another couple of those if you wanted to, or you could come in with another colour and add some other leaves. So I'm going to come in with my shaded, no, I'm not going to come in with shaded spruce, I'm going to come in with my Pretty Peacock. Okay. I'm just going to add some leaves here, and again stamp off the edge if you want. Kind of create a frame, and so you see the detail in these stamps, they're absolutely incredible. Just going to wipe my fingers, just managed to get green ink. There's another, must be another nemesis of mine. I seem to manage to get myself all inky. Okay, so now that you've stamped this piece of card, I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm just going to stamp my sentiment in the middle here. Hopefully a bit straighter than I've managed on one of my other cards, because me and straight sentiments just don't seem to happen at the moment. I'm going to use my Pretty Peacock because my Pretty Peacock is going to a Pretty Peacock layer. So I've die cut, these are these stitched nested shapes, and I've die cut one out of Whisper White. There we go. Okay, still not straight, never mind. And I'm going to just stamp some of these dots either side, just to add a bit of texture as well. like little rain splatters, aren't they? So pop those stamps out of the way. Okay. I've then cut a stitch nested label, as I said, not necessarily the next size up, but so you've got quite a nice border, and I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals onto the front in a moment. So we can crack on with our card construction. So this layer is going to go onto here, but you want to add your points first. And now what I found the best way to do this, to make sure that I get them in the right orientation, is to add them onto the front, like so, then flip the card over. Press down firmly, depending on what glue you're using, and add your glue, and then fold in. And through that way you get it wrapping around really well, and it means that you can line up with the edge of your card more easily. So fold it up there, then turn over. Now if you're using Tombow, it's not so much an issue because you've got the wiggle room, but this way it does help the points lie down slightly better. Talking the points, one thing I didn't do was stick them down. Recommended to do this bit first. Just add some glue and put those points in as well. There we go, like so. Okay, so you can see the leaves just peeking out, adding a little bit more contrast. So now you've done that, you can just add your glue to the reverse of this piece and add it to our card layer. Now again, just centering that. Like so. Okay, so our card's starting to come together. Now we can add our panel. Now with this again, rather than I'm going to add my glue to the panel, to the point, not to the piece going on the front, because it means that you're not going to have any surplus glue. Just eyeball it, and I use these little gaps on either side to get it straight. So there you go. Just press that down and hold it for a moment. Then we can start adding our decoration. So these stamps stamp so beautifully, and they really are, with the die cuts as well, it makes it so easy to make beautiful cards. You could obviously hand cut these if you haven't got a die cutting machine, and that would work really well. If you can wait a little bit longer, there's a new mini die cutting machine, great starter machine, and a travel machine coming up. So that would be fabulous too. So you'll see if I show you with this pretty peacock ink and this lovely rounded leaf, when you stamp, you just get the most beautiful detail straight away. I'll show you that in the shaded spruce. There you go, fabulous detail. Now what I find when I'm die cutting to get the best finish is I individually put those through. So those images, I will just take the die that coordinates, and I'll attach it just using a tiny little bit of washi tape that I've got just down the side. So for example, this big one here, I'll show you with that. I just take a little bit of washi tape and I line it up, as you can see here, so you can't see any white, and just pop it down the side there. You don't want to put your washi tape on your image. Even if you've got a magnetic plate, that will just help it go through and peel it off. You can use it several times and you end up with some fabulous stamped images. So what I have done is done those already. Because again, something like this, you often want to add a bit of foliage. You don't always want to get your die cutting machine out. So I've already die cut and stamped some of these images in those shades of colour that you've already seen. So that means that I can now put my big spray onto there already. says, here, or I'm going to use this one here and just add some glue to the back and attach it to the front there. Now I'm going to add my panel with my dots, my dimensionals. Why do I call them dots? They're not glue dots, that's for certain. So I'm just putting 4 there, just kind of, as I usually say, you know, 1 in each corner. And once that's on, I'm then going to add my die cut to use as my latch as well. So just centre that in the middle of your die cut, like so. And then we want a fairly large image for the bottom here. So you could pop one just on the corner there, that'll help add it in. I wonder whether that one, no, I think that one. So think about where your image is and work out where you need your dimensionals on the back there. So I'm going to have one at the bottom, and I'm using the large one to make sure I've got a really good hold for this, because it's obviously going to have a little bit of strain on it. So just add that, tuck it in, make sure it's going to hold our flap like so, and then I can add my other die cuts behind it. I can come in with one of these, a pear pizzazz maybe, or a couple of these in shaded spruce. And the lovely thing with these images is there are 2 of these smaller ones that go in opposite directions, so you can kind of create more of an effect with those as well. So let's find my other shaded spruce one. So there we go. So you can have one sort of leaning out slightly and another one leaning in, and then I might just pop another leaf at the back there. Okay, so just make sure they don't come out on the outside of your card, just make sure you can fit it into your envelope, and then just pop those. Again, you could use a glue dot, you could use your liquid glue, just to kind of create, and I'm just allowing them to go slightly around the frame. All that's left to do is attach our stand. So create this shape here, so like a zigzag, so it's just this one different one. Add some glue to both the top and the bottom small panel, and then making sure where the bottom of your card is, you just centre this, and you can measure it if you want to. I'm just using my grid paper there. Line it up with the bottom and then just tuck that little bit in there. And there you have a pretty double pointed card with a bit of a latch fold, ready to pop in the post using our beautiful new Forever Greenery. If you'd like to purchase any of the items, don't forget to pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk. Use the host code, get some goodies, Code Club. I'd love you to be a customer of mine so I can send you some treats. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me soon. Bye.